history of the band and how you and Michael got together first? Or?
Yeah. Well, we met quite a few years ago now, and Michael was doing some quite avant-garde recordings at the time, and also doing some performance art, as we were both art school in the past. I had kind of left my studies. I was working in London, and I had done a lot of video work. I'd done just about everything because I was allowed to kind of do most of the range of the fine art subjects plus anything else I fancied doing, and I really was into video at the time and doing performances and music for the videos. So when we got together, we found that we had so much in common. We started to save up some money to buy some little bits of equipment and stuff. So I think we managed to save about £200 and bought a little tiny mixer, and then another £200 bought us a little 4-track cassette recorder. And that was sort of 85, I think. And so the first things we did were under the name Greater Than One. Then we started to make cassette packages, which contained cassettes along with postcards, booklets, little wax and metal sculptures and things we'd made. And some of them came in boxes and some of them came in clear plastic bags full of, like, goodies. It was rather like when you were a kid, we used to have these things called jamboree bags. Mm-hmm. You have them in the States?
No, nothing like that.
Oh, they're super for kids because you get a lollipop and then you get all different sweets and then you get a little joke and stuff. And it was rather like one of them, you know, but you got a cassette of it and some more serious stuff, you know. So
that's great.
We made these packages and sold them to the record shops in London ourselves. And then we teamed up with the guys that used to be, still are, SPK. Mm-hmm. And Graham and Sinan, who were just actually leaving for Australia. They were setting up a record label called Side Effects. And so our first album came out on Side Effects Records. And then what happened? So we were still Greater Than One. And then we decided to, God, there's so much to talk about. Then we decided to make our own label. So in, early 87, we released our first single ourselves. It's called Everybody's Crazy Except Us. And so for 2 years we had our own label, which was K Records. And we also were communicating with Paul from We Never Sleep quite early on. I think he was actually one of the first people to ever write to us from the States. And so he got some stuff from us, which came out on the Insomnia cassette packages there. So anyway, after a while, we started licensing things to Wax Trax in the States and to Boo Disc for Europe. And we were just working on Greater Than One until about 1990. Excuse me. And then we were with Boo Disc, and they said, well, look, we're starting up this dance label. Do you fancy doing something for that, maybe under different names? So we said, sure, we'll have a go. And we did Pure by GTO, and that became a massive hit in the clubs around Europe, which surprised us greatly. And we thought, well, it was such a thrill to do this. And we were certainly into making hard dance music that we carried on, and we also did some more projects which we white-labelled ourselves, and we did Tricky Disco, which we did purely for fun, and we didn't really realise that it was going to be a top 20 record here, but it got to number 14, and I think we sold about 150,000 copies or something, just in England. So that really kicked the door open to the rest of the music industry for us, and the phone started ringing, and people said, oh yeah, well, come and see us, let's hear your new stuff, you know. So it was very strange for us because we'd done such underground stuff really until then, but we thought, okay, well, if these doors are going to open, we're going to go through them, and we're going to try and put stuff on good labels that have good distribution here, but try and keep the stuff very hard. And that's what we did with John and Julie, for example. Mm-hmm. A mixture of mixes we always put out on John and Julie records. There's always one that's like super ridiculously hard, and then other things that are sort of slightly more geared towards the UK and European market. So right now we're working as Greater Than One, GTO, Tricky Disco, John and Julie, Church of Extacy, and probably some other projects that are just about to be formulated as well.
How about Newman and Wells?
That would be a good idea, wouldn't it, really? Maybe we should have been Newman and Wells all along. Yeah, I mean, we might even just do some stuff under our surnames like that, actually.
Wow.
And it'll probably be the most commercial stuff we do. We'll just do it as Newman and Wells or something.
Okay.
But we kind of never really meant to work under so many different names, but it became what do you call it? It just became that it was necessary for us to do that, because otherwise we would never have been able to release so much material under the one name, because we'd be, well, I mean, so you can do that, but in this country you tend to need to try and get a bit of press and stuff, and they don't want to write about Newman and Wells every week, you know, it's just not interesting for them. But if you give them a Tricky Disco record 1 week, and then a John and Julie 2 weeks later, and then a GTO a month later, and then, you know, they'll write about all of it rather than, so we kept it quite secret for a lot of time, that we were actually all these bands were actually the same two people. But it's kind of been revealed a bit now, so we talk about it more now, and hope that people can just accept it.
Right, it's pretty ingenious, and I've tried to keep up with you as much as I can. Really enjoyed the sound and everything.
Great, I'm glad.
Is it easy to deal with? Is it really effective to work with different record companies like XL and Rumor? And I guess Wax Trax here in the U.S. too.
It's easy, really. You just find that you're dealing with different personalities at each label, and the sort of people that you're dealing with are A&R, and they have their own ideas about what you should be doing next sometimes, or sometimes not. I mean, some people we work with are really just open, and they'll say, oh, well, you know, whatever you want to do next, we'll do it. Some other people are saying, well, look, you know, we want to really make this successful, and we want to put a lot of money behind this, but we need something that's really definitely going to be a top 40 record. So, you know, so there's that to deal with, and then there's somebody else will say, oh, well, no, just do whatever you want, as long as we like it, we'll do it, but we just need 4 mixes of it. You know, every single situation is totally different. It's more, it's gotten more time consuming to put out records these days, because people do want so many mixes. So we found that we used to be able to put out a couple and it was okay, but most of the record labels we work with now want a lot of mixes, a lot of different choices, and they want a mix for each little tiny part of the scene that's happening over here, because house music and hardcore music and the underground independent scene is now like some tree with a million branches. I mean, it's gone all over the place, you know. So you tend to have to try and think of, okay, we'll do a mix for the guys that like ragged techno, we'll do a hardcore mix for Germany, we'll do a commercial mix for the radio station, and we'll do a housey mix for the normal clubs, and it gets kind of endless.
One of the things that didn't get away was quite early recording on an album company out of Boulder, Colorado. One of the first companies to recognize Greater Than One and contact them. A guy named Paul Dickerson who represents We Never Sleep Records out of Colorado. This is called Trust, from about 1985. Some early Greater Than One things. WUNH.
Well, we tend to listen to, used to listen to every single kind of music that we could lay our hands on. Everything from ethnic stuff to classical to hip-hop to reggae to anything, you know. We spent a lot of our years listening to a really broad range of music. Just lately, we tend to listen to dance music most of the time because we are so involved in it now. I'm also just about to review about 150 records for a magazine here for the Hardcore Techno page, so we're kind of surrounded by other people's music all the time, and so we tend to just listen to or pick up on the things that really, really move us the most, and it's a different band every day at the moment. There's so much stuff out there. There's a lot of good stuff happening around Europe right now. And from America, we've got, tons of records that are really in our favourite pile, So there's just so much of it that there's not really a single band or anything like that we would really sort of say was an influence, I don't think, because we've never kind of had very straightforward influences. They've always been just from what we gather around the place all the time, every day.
What is a live show? Can you consider like a DJ gig a live show for Greater Than One, or do you have plans for? Oh, you have plans for Germany?
We used to do Greater Than One live shows because they were usually things we did in like Germany, Belgium, and Holland at large festivals that were funded. So there was enough money there to hire all the equipment we needed and to pay for us to go over there, etc. Unfortunately, there's not really been an opportunity for us to do very much in England, or America for that matter. It was always on the cards that we might come and do a Greater Than One tour, but it's kind of been pushed back and back. So we have to just wait for the time to be right for that again. But for the other projects of ours, we haven't done any live shows because mostly what happens on the dance music scene here, people just ask you to do a PA in a club, yeah? Which usually involves just sort of miming to your latest single for 10 minutes or 20 minutes or something, which I find totally illogical. I mean, that just doesn't seem right to me at all. So we haven't actually done any live shows. That is, in fact, why we decided we would DJ instead, because for all intents and purposes, in England, you want to go out and try and publicise yourself by doing a live show. You can do it just as well by DJing, because the DJ culture here is massive, and I mean, DJs are just as respected as a band. So, you might as well just say, GTO sound system or something, or Tricky Disco sound system, or John Junior sound system, or whatever, and go out there and enjoy it. And I mean, it's much more live, actually, to DJ than it is to actually put on a live show these days in most cases, because we're a studio band, yeah? We work with computers and samplers, and we always have. We've already worked with technology. We're not musicians. We don't sing. We don't do vocals. We don't play any instruments, so there's absolutely no reason for us to be stood on stage. It's just totally illogical again. It's just not something that we should be doing, I don't think. The Greater Than One live shows, actually, we weren't on stage either, but we put on huge visual displays of videos and films and slides and that went with the music and did a lot of atmospheric theatrical effects and stuff, and tried to make something interesting for people to watch, and they could dance or whatever, depending on what kind of music was going on at the time. But, yeah, maybe we'll do something in the future. We'd still like to, but it has to be a pretty technological show, and the only trouble with that is they're expensive to do. Right. Because you need a lot of good equipment, and if you want to make something quite spectacular, which is what we always like to do, you've got a lot to compete with as far as, like, the rave scene goes. Here, people are used to seeing massive projections and like multicoloured lasers and mind-blowing strobe lights all night and stuff like this. And really, in the end, you might as well just DJ. Really, I mean, because you might as well just make sure that the club's good and that they've got all this stuff and go for it, because that's what works best anyway with the music, and to really completely trance people out. Is the very best thing, and you're going to be. It's going to be easy for you to do that if you DJ and mix in your own music as well, of course. Maybe from your own records or new stuff on DAT or whatever, and just make a good set. And I think that's probably the most valid thing to do. Mm-hmm. It certainly feels like that here, anyway.
Do you take many directions off in your art, visual-wise or otherwise? I know you had a display in a gallery over there in London.
Yeah, we've also exhibited at the Chicago Art Expo. We did that, I think, in '89. Okay. We had a massive space there, which was really great. And we did some art exhibitions here as well in London. We've had a few exhibitions. Also in Holland, Germany, Yugoslavia, and that's about it, I think, for exhibitions. But we took the same kind of... Well, we took two different shows around. One was very large three-dimensional paintings, and the other one was a video installation. But we have been so tied up with the music for the last couple of years. I mean, we've got all the art in our house, apart from the stuff that's been sold, And then some friends have got some pieces as well that they sort of keep for us, you know. But we are looking forward to having some time to do some more, I can tell you that. But at the moment, we have to concentrate on the music because we've gotten so deep into it, we can't stop.
Right.
So there's all that to cope with. So we still do some sort of, we do book covers and record covers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael does that mostly under the name Tommy Yamaha.
Oh, okay. That's the third member on the message.
Yeah, that's right. So he does lots of magazine illustrations, and he's doing a couple of book covers at the moment. And of course, we still do our own artworks for our own releases most of the time, and for other people too. So we still do that, but we can't really work hard on all the art theme that we would like to do, because again, it's another full-time job.
Right. Wow. What when you do have time, what other kind of projects do you plan, otherwise visually or through music, in the future?
We got invited to be video directors a little while ago,
wow,
which was really nice, from a video production company here in London. We've directed and made all of our own videos so far, and the last one we did, which was the Listen to the Rhythm Flow video for GTO, was done as a co-production with the video production company. And they really found that when they took their show reels around to record companies, that everyone plumped for the one that we'd done with them. So they thought, maybe we should haul these guys in to do some more, you know, because it seems to work very well. So having said that, we've not even had time to do one yet, apart from our own. But that's on the cards for the future.
Good.
And that's a kind of permanently open door that we're sort of allowed to go through whenever we can do it, or whenever a project comes up that we know about or they know about that we really want to do. So if any other bands come along that we could that have enough budget and whatnot, you know, we'll be sure to sort of find some time to work with them, we hope. Yeah, we're going to do more DJing. I've just begun to, you know, do this journalism as well. So I'm writing for Front Page Magazine Germany, as their London correspondent, and also for DJ Magazine in England, which is just a very new thing. I've just been doing that for the past month. And well, more of the same. Otherwise, I think we'll just be doing everything that is connected with the music business as we have been doing.
Wow. Well, I wish you luck.
Thank you.
Just out of curiosity, can I ask you how old you are, or how old Michael is, or both?
We never tell anyone.
Okay, I was just curious.
Because not that we're afraid ourselves, but I think some people, especially over here, get quite ageist about things, and they kind of, I mean, we kind of could have, I guess we look and we behave like most sort of 18-year-olds, you know, but we're not 18.
Okay.
Okay, hello, this is Lee Newman here on WUNH 91.3 FM in Durham.